Today we're with Tim Moshier, founder of Acumen Detection, a company that offers an on-farm test that can detect and identify mastitis organisms in 3 hours, cow by cow and quarter by quarter. Tim, we understand your development of this product grew out of both your family background in dairy farming and your long military service. Can you tell us a little bit about this?
Sure, Joel. Thank you for the introduction. My personal background, my grandparents were dairy farmers, aunts and uncles were dairy farmers. So spent a lot of time with them and learned to appreciate that industry and what farmers have to do to make ends meet. After school, I spent 21 years as an officer in the Army, and in the latter part of my career, I developed biowarfare, chemical and biological warfare sensing systems. And I learned a lot about putting the operator in the center of the system for that and how important it was to make sure that the whole system supports the operator. After the Army, I went to Massachusetts Institute of Technology in Lincoln Lab, where I did more systems work. And about 11 years ago, came here to SRC, our parent company, in central New York, and started a Chem Biodefense group here. One of the products that we developed was another tactical biowarfare sensing system that any soldier, regardless of their background or training, could use even under some very austere conditions. It was about 4 or 5 years ago that, as our parent company was looking at diversifying beyond just the defense and security work that they have, and through my interest in agriculture and food safety, learned that one of the things that farmers really need to make an economic impact is rapid, actionable information right there on the farm. And that's what really motivated us to develop this system that can identify what it is that's causing mastitis in a dairy cow from she comes in from first milking to for pathogens that traditionally take a long time to culture, such as mycoplasma. And we're seeing the system on farm now helping farmers and protecting their herds.
So, as I understand it, you were deployed in the Middle East, and your mission was to defend our troops against the potential or possible chemical or biological attacks. And you were developing tools that would let a soldier do that in the field. Is that the case?
Right. So I deployed to Desert Storm in 1991, and then went back again in 95 as part of a United Nations bioweapons inspection team. And it was at that point that Iraq admitted to the fact that they had an offensive bioweapons program, and then deployed to the Middle East again in 1998 when tensions between U.S. and Iraq escalated again. And at that point, we had deployed an experimental biodetection system. And we had a squad of Marines with us to help run it. And that was another great learning experience. After that, I was a program manager for the biodetection system I mentioned earlier. And during that period, I was when 9/11 happened, and we did emergency deployments of systems both domestically and overseas. So it was a great learning experience, a great opportunity to learn what works and doesn't work, and how the human dimension plays in the success of any system.
So you basically can say that if the system can work in the field, in the battlefield, with a soldier who doesn't necessarily have technical training, you fully understand how an on-farm situation with competent but not necessarily technically sophisticated dairy farm employees could work your system.
Exactly. We worked hard. Cornell Quality Milk Production Services has been our collaborator on the system and co-inventor, and they gave us a lot of great insights. But then, of course, it's when you get it on the farm that you really learn a lot more, and we were able to improve the system. We have, to give you an idea how simple the system is to use, one of our field reps will occasionally have her 9-year-old son run the system, and he successfully runs it without any problem. Instructions on the system are in English, Spanish, and French, and they're all interactive. So if the operator has a question at any point, they can hit a little on-demand video, and it will give them instructions and show them what to do. I think we've got this pretty well video-proof.
And for our viewers, we will be sharing some links to some of those educational and informational videos too, just as an aside. We'll offer that thought. Just tell us a bit about how this works from the milking parlor or the milking barn, where that milk flows and how your system works.
Sure. So the system, once the milk sample is collected from the cow, and the system can be set up really virtually anywhere. We have some folks that run it in their farm office. Some of the larger operations will have a lab area, and others may use a laundry room or a break room on the farm to use it. But it goes through a couple of simple, quick milk prep steps to get the sample ready. What our system does is it looks for the DNA, the genetic material that's specific to the pathogen we're looking for. So that 25-minute milk prep step, 2 steps in it, helps to knock down some of the components of milk that interfere with the identification chemistry and opens up some of that DNA, so that then it goes to a third tube which has freeze-dried chemistries in there, and then that goes into the machine. The system reads the data coming off it and then interprets the results for the operator, so it's a clear pathogen present or not present. And again, it's done to meet that goal of reducing the cost of mastitis, helping the farm determine, do they need to apply antibiotics or not, or is it a contagious agent that they want to get out of the herd right away.
Give us a little bit of idea of the scope of the business, kind of how many cows, how many herds, where are you headed in the future? How can this be rolled out to more cows and more herds?
Right. Well, we went to market about a year ago this month, and right now total we're supporting about 50,000 cows, right? And that goes from Vermont to Texas and New Mexico. We're down in Florida, Wisconsin, Michigan, Kansas. The farms that we support range in size from 80 to 12,000 head operation. We recently sold a system to a veterinary practice in Quebec, and we're now in New Zealand. We went there when we heard about the mycoplasma outbreak that they're dealing with, and we went there in June. The system is currently in validation testing there, and it's been doing real well, primarily for staph and strep. The mycoplasma testing is tightly controlled by the government, but we're working with the government to come up with a validation plan for mycoplasma too. So we're really on the upslope in terms of getting out there on farms. We have 3 distributors right now here in the U.S., and we're looking forward to an exciting time in the near future, both in terms of sales and with continued development, adding new capabilities to the system over time.
Well, Tim, thank you very much for this overview of Acumen Detection. Folks can find more information at your website, acumendetection.com, and we appreciate you sharing your story with us. And it sounds like it's really just nicely underway.
Yeah, thank you very much. Well, I really appreciate the opportunity. Here at Acumen, we're looking at a changing and exciting future. We're actually going to be spinning off from our parent company pretty soon. and we're looking for partners to work with. So this is an especially exciting time for us.
Well, thank you. And a very unique story from your own personal background as well. Thank you for sharing it with us. This is Joel Hastings with Dairy Business News with This Week in Dairy.